as you just saw, I peeled the tomatoes. All of the tomatoes that I had in my freezer, this is it. This is the flesh, obviously, and right here are all of the skins, which, if you don't know, and you have a dehydrator, you should save your skins and dehydrate them, because then you can grind it up and boom, you have tomato powder to put into whatever you want. Can you imagine a tomato flavored bread? So good. Or putting it in with rice. It's just amazing. So save your skins always. And this is all we have. It's about, I guess, 8 cups. This is an 8-cup measuring cup. I want to make crushed tomatoes. Would I get like 4 pints? Is that worth it? I've never canned crushed tomatoes, so that's why I really want to do it. And also I grew these myself. I guess we're going with crushed tomatoes. I don't know. I am gonna pour all of this into this pan right here. And it says to mash it to kind of crush the tomatoes, which makes sense. But my tomatoes are a bit already crushed from being frozen, so I'm just gonna leave them alone, and whatever gets crushed more by me mixing it up with a spatula, then I think that'll be okay. Also, my finger is doing well. It is bruised and swollen. The brace that they gave me, this is just too big for me. First of all, it was cutting into my palm. This part here was rubbing against my knuckle, so I cut a little tiny piece of it, like 1.5 inches or so, and I taped it really well around my finger so I can't bend it at all. And I have new splints coming from Amazon tomorrow because I need a bit more freedom. It was like slipping off all night. I got 6 hours of sleep. I was trying to crochet last night, slowest crocheter in the world. So I just need something to keep it nice and straight, but isn't so giant and getting in the way constantly. So that's what's coming tomorrow. Look at that. Oh, you can't see anything. It's already boiling. How long was I yapping for? Jeez. Lots of seeds, but I'm okay with that. It didn't say anything about removing the seeds, so I just left them. Of course, if you just crush a tomato, the seeds are going to be in there anyway, so that makes sense. However, the 4th of July tomatoes had a ton of seeds, so many, so I did try to get rid of some of those and just left the Roma and the bush steak. The bush steak had a ton of meat, so good, and the Roma was really great. Not that many seeds, really meaty. Definitely think I want to do more Romas. I say that every year. I said that last year, and I guess I just need a huge plot of tomatoes in order to get the amount of tomato products I want to make. So I'm gonna let this heat up for 5 minutes. Okay, so while this is heating up, it says to put 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid into each pint jar. And if I need more jars, I have plenty. The citric acid is to make sure the tomatoes are acidic enough. Of course, when you're growing tomatoes, the acid levels vary from each variety and each tomato, you know? So yes, they are acidic, but they might not be acidic enough. So the citric acid, or you can use lemon juice, that will help bring your acid levels up, you know? And then we are gonna pour in tomatoes, leaving a 1/2 inch headspace. Perfect. I think I need one more jar. Great. Love that. They have to be in here for 45 minutes. So while that's doing its thing, I am going to take the tomato skins and I'm going to put them on the dehydrator trays. I'm gonna make sure they are as dry as they can be and try to spread them out as much as possible. These will dry super fast in the dehydrator, by the way. It's very quick. I'll probably run it overnight. 14 hours or so is what I usually just land on. We'll see in the morning what they look like. Oh. We are on to our next project here, and that is Sloppy Joe starter, finally. Yes, I indeed got tomato sauce on my cream colored shirt, so I changed. Really good. Also, I found a whole bag of tomatoes in the freezer that I missed, so That probably could have been like 2 more jars of crushed tomatoes. I'll just have to make something else, I guess, or I'll make crushed tomatoes. Undecided yet. First thing with this Sloppy Joe starter, I'm going to saute up onions. It also says to put bell peppers in the oven and roast them, but I'm just gonna saute them up also because I do not want to put the oven on right now. It is like 95 degrees out. We got this canner going. It's just too warm already. So I'm gonna saute onions, then the peppers. So I misread the instructions. Of course, you're supposed to put the onions and the peppers together into the oven. I don't know why I thought you would roast the peppers and then saute the onions, but I'm just gonna saute it all like I've been doing. I'm gonna add in the bell peppers, and then I'm gonna add in a 1/2 cup of tomato paste. I'm gonna stir this in and let it cook for 5 minutes. It says to stir this until it is thick, and that looks thick to me. So I'm gonna add in 4 cups of tomato sauce. This is apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, and this is Dijon mustard. It says to add like a 1/2 cup. So I'm gonna try like a little bit under a quarter and go from there. I feel like a 1/2 cup could be really strong, but maybe that's how it's supposed to be. I don't know. I'm gonna taste along the way. I just don't want it to turn out way too mustardy. I think this is done, and I'm ready to fill jars now. By the way, I added a little bit more sugar, a tiny bit more mustard, garlic powder, and 21 seasoning salute, which is from Trader Joe's. It's my favorite like all-purpose seasoning, and I think it turned out well. So I'm excited to can this up, also use it soon and see how it is as an actual Sloppy Joe, and I'm sure I can find a lot of other uses for this as well. And they will be in there for 30 minutes. Feels so good to be done with that. Good morning. I am labeling the crushed tomatoes in the Sloppy Joe starter before I put it on the shelf, and I'm also taking a thumbnail photo, of course, with all of my jars. I wanted to point out a couple things. The Sloppy Joe starter I think it's like the new fall book. I already put it away, but I will like pop up a picture of what the book looks like. The Sloppy Joe starter sauce recipe is incorrect, I guess. Apparently, you need to add 1 cup of the apple cider vinegar. In the recipe that they have in that book says half. I don't know how you can make such a mistake and still put the books out for production and then change it like when they're already out, you know? Like that's like a really important ingredient. Acid is like that is what preserves it. So I had learned about that last night after I had already made the Sloppy Joe sauce, and I did add a 1/2 cup of the vinegar, but I also went back and added a little bit more because I tasted it and I was like, is this sour enough? You know, like is it acidic enough? I know you can't tell by taste, but something in me, I was like, I was feeling unsure. I don't think it equaled a cup of vinegar though. So there's a few things we can do here. You can freeze all of your jars. You can dump all of them back into a pot, add in the appropriate amount of vinegar, reprocess everything, or put them on your shelf and hope for the best. And I think I'm gonna go with that option. I know that sounds bad, but I did 5 jars. It is mostly a tomato-based product. I did add a little bit more vinegar, and I'm just gonna try to use them up really fast. There were probably thousands and thousands of people that made that recipe and canned that recipe before they made the change. Although they changed it for a good reason, I understand that. I don't want to take up the space in my fridge, and I really don't want to reprocess everything because it's just a waste of energy and time and just everything. So I'm just gonna put them on my shelf and I'm gonna use them up as fast as possible and hope for the best. As for the crushed tomatoes, tomatoes right here. This is what they look like. I shook this one up because it was separated like that, which is fine. That's called tomato float, and they usually do that. It's not a big deal. I think it's because it has extra air bubbles in the tomatoes that didn't get pressed out or cooked out or whatever, but they are still safe. In total, I believe I did 48 jars, which is awesome. And I am going to take a little break from canning, and when we have more tomatoes built up, we'll be back at it again. After I put all of these jars away, I'm gonna go through and deep clean the kitchen because we did so much canning and the kitchen is a complete mess. Like the sink over there, such a mess. Also, the tomato seeds are so sticky and I keep finding them on everything. I don't know how, but they have gotten everywhere. I wanna do a nice deep clean of the sink and vacuum, and I'm gonna take you along with me. For a moment, I almost forgot about the tomato skins dehydrating in my girlfriend's bathroom. And since she comes home today, I needed to get those out of there. So I am going to add all of these to this little cup right here and blend it up. And hopefully we will get some nice tomato powder. There we go. That's a good half cup or more of tomato powder. This stuff is seriously so good and can even be used as like a tomato paste in a pinch just by adding like a little bit of water until it's a paste. It's a very, very concentrated tomato flavor. Just imagine the possibilities. So exciting. That was a nice little break. Let's get back to cleaning. I'm at the garden. I am gonna water and harvest. It looks like we have squash right over there to harvest. Lots of tomatoes, beans. Oh my gosh, we need to water so bad. It's been 3 days. I know, it's terrible. Ugh, cantaloupe are still alive down there. Great. Let's get in there. Ooh-wee, look at that. Beautiful bell pepper. Oh my gosh. Wow. Some blossoms over here, no peppers yet. Ooh. Beautiful cantaloupe. Look at that. This one. That one is getting its like netting. Wow. Ow, pokey. Ooh. Look at this tiny one. Oh my. The bean that we forgot about. Look how huge it is. Oh, a bit over, I guess. I don't know. Oh wow, we have another eggplant. Baby eggplant right there. I don't think I see any more beans. That was the only bean so far. These are, so yeah, we'll get some in the future. They're just not very productive. Not a very productive plant. You have to see how good the dogs are being. Look how cute they are. Oh my gosh. Both using their beds. So sweet. Oh my gosh, we are zoomed. It is time for me to shower and then I have to go pick up my girlfriend. Her plane will be here literally in almost an hour and I still have to drive to the airport, so that's what I'm gonna do. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you want to. Bye.